What is going on?
Yeah, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of the Boys for Life podcast. We have a great one today. I'm super stoked. Welcome back, my brother. How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling good, bro. Feeling really good, man. Dude, there's a lot of good things going on.
There are a lot of good things going on. Life is good right now.
Life's good. Yeah, everything's good, man. I definitely cannot complain. Staying active, staying busy, always working.
As always.
As always, dude. But what's good with you?
The grind does not stop. Yeah. Dude, it's actually beautiful outside.
Dude, gorgeous day. Gorgeous day.
Like, it's gorgeous out, but like last night I went for a walk. I was taking my dog on a walk at night. It was like probably like 9:30. Yeah. Sun was down. And it just felt really good outside. I was like, oh my gosh. Like I was wearing a sweatshirt. Yeah. Which is weird. But it kind of cooled off a little bit at night. But it felt really good. And it's just waking up, sun's out. I went for a run this morning. And it's just feeling good, man. Life is good. Yeah. I'm kind of vibrating today. I'm not gonna lie. I love it, I got some good energy. I'm feeling good today.
It's probably that cold plunge you took earlier. Cold plunge, still feeling it, you know?
For the listeners that don't know. So over the winter, shout out Wim Hof. If you're not familiar with the Wim Hof method, he's really big on like cold exposure, cold showers, cold tubs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. All the benefits it does for your mind, your body, your immune system, yada, yada. Me and him both have cold tubs. Actually, the same one. Shout out Tractor Supply.
Big shout out Tractor Supply.
I hadn't gotten in mine since I got my tattoo, which was like 3 months ago. And I cleaned it out. It was absolutely disgusting. I told you the water in there was freaking disgusting. It was like it was literally more yellow than like lemon lime Gatorade. So I know it was absolutely wretched. So I dumped it out, cleaned it out, and I actually got in today. I sat in there. We were on the phone for like 10 minutes. It wasn't as cold, obviously, as the winter, but first time doing a cold tub in a while. I felt so good after. Dude. I went inside. I was chilling for a little bit. Like my body was like cold. I kind of had to put a hoodie on and some sweats. I was like, I kind of missed this feeling. Yeah. We did it all winter. Started in what? End of November, early December, I think I started, and then you got on the wave like a week or two after me, and we were doing it religiously. I was doing 3, 4, 5 minutes a day, even when it was 0 degrees out, and the cold tub was almost solid ice all the way through. But maybe that's why I'm vibrating today. I'm feeling pretty good. I took a shower before I came over for a brew. But enough of that. Yeah. I know that you had a really good day yesterday.
I did.
I didn't want to talk too much about it before the podcast because I wanted to save these conversations for the pod. So why don't you tell the viewers and the listeners what happened yesterday?
Yeah. So as you know, we do this every week, right? We have to give a shout out where it's due. This is a major shout out to Tina. I mean, Tina.
Shout out Tina.
Every episode, but this is legit Tina. So she loves Q101. And there was a girl named Kenzie who's one of the co-hosts. And she was talking about this show called MVP. It's known as Most Valuable Partner. It's on the Cubs Marquee Network. And Christina was like, oh, this seems really cool. Like, how do we sign up? So she messaged Kenzie on Instagram. She's like, hey, how you doing? We're interested in this. How do we sign up? Blah, blah, blah. She sent Christina a link that we signed up for. And there's a lot of, I think like hundreds of people put their submissions in, and we got lucky and they picked us. And we were in Chicago yesterday at Old Crow Smokehouse doing some filming. I mean, it was really cool. Our friends came down, family came down. It's a really cool experience. For those of you who don't know, I don't think you really even know the full backstory of the MVP show.
I don't think I do, to be honest with you. I really don't think I do.
MVP stands for Most Valuable Partner. So the concept's more like a game show. So there's 3 rounds. So the first round, and mind you, I can't share everything with you because we did sign a disclosure. It's not going to
be NDA. Really, they made you sign an NDA.
We had to sign some sort of contract that we can't talk about our results, who won, until it's released. I believe they said 3 to 4 weeks on Marquee Network. So tune in. We'll talk more about it when it gets closer. But I'm excited to show you guys that episode. But we can talk about the structure of it. Yeah. So there's 3 rounds, and you advance. You have a chance at winning tickets to the 1914 Club, which is this luxurious. Was it club or?
It's like below the stadium,
it's below
right?
The stadium.
It's below the field.
It's below
right?
the field. Your seats are like the first 10 rows, which is pretty cool. Yeah. All you can eat, all you can drink at the best food they have at Wrigley. It's a really cool experience. So the first round was more about like, how well do you know your partner? So there are some questions like, as an example, if your partner was to, were to be a closer, what song would they come out to, right? Yeah. You kind of have to guess questions like that.
100%.
So we did really well.
What was your guess? Was she guessing for you on that question, or did you guess for her?
She had to guess me.
Okay.
She had to guess me.
What was the guess?
Mike
Stud?
I'm gonna leave it at that, right?
Of course.
Now I can't really share much more, or else it'll start giving some things away. But there's 3 rounds, and obviously the more you advance, there's more harder questions. They ask more Cubs trivia. So Christina and I mean, we studied the whole last 2 weeks. I was giving her
preparation,
quizzing.
man. Always
I was
prepared.
asking her all the questions. A lot of them came up. Some of them didn't, which is okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna say, Christina, even though she's more of a basketball fan, loves the Bulls. She absolutely crushed it.
Absolutely crushed it.
Fucking crushed it. I'm gonna say it. She did really well. I'm really proud of her, and she should be proud of herself.
That's awesome. Shout out Tina again.
Shout out Tina again. Oh, I love Tina.
I know you can't give it away, but I'm really hoping that you guys came together and landed those 1914 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We can't spill it. We won't
can't.
spill the beans, but I'm just really happy you guys had a good time. I know that I saw on your story. Were your parents there? Or was that her parents?
Both parents were there.
Both parents were there because I saw you put on your story that somebody posted like the photo of you in the Fukudomi jersey?
Kosuke Fukudome,
yes,
baby.
the Fukudomi. I saw you guys were there, and obviously they weren't like recording or like when they were asking you questions, but I just saw you guys were there and it just looked amazing. Looked like so much fun. What an experience, right,
dude?
Didn't it all come about because she was calling the hotline for the Fall Out Boy tickets? Isn't that what happened? And then somehow you guys rerouted, and she ended up getting you guys on the game show.
So we got to backtrack a little bit here.
Yeah.
So Christina loves calling in to win radio, just tickets anywhere, any free ticket she'll get. I believe this was actually when we first started dating. So it was actually last summer. So she called in. I think it was Q101. Was it?
Was it Q101 or was it like 103.5?
Maybe I don't know. Okay, so she thinks it's 101.9. Okay. She's behind us, obviously. That's why there's a little delay pause, but she's live with us always here. But she won an all-inclusive trip out to Vegas to go see the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
I swear to God, her and a friend all paid for.
They were there incredible.
For a weekend? For a weekend.
So basically what you're saying is that if you want anybody to be calling in and you want to win, it needs to be Tina.
It needs to be Tina.
Okay, so now it makes a lot more sense why you guys were chosen for the game show.
Yeah.
It's secret. She's probably got the Fall Out Boy tickets too, and you guys are going to be going to that.
So that is
amazing.
That I can share. We did not win that yet.
Okay.
I can share. We didn't sign any NDA or contract yet. But we did not win yet. So we've been calling every morning though. Every morning she's calling. I love it. Respect.
But I'm glad that you guys had a good time at the game show. It looked like so much fun. Honestly, I want to hear a little bit more, but I want to talk about it on the pod.
Yeah.
But also after the podcast, you guys had a great night. You went out to, you didn't stay at Old Crow. You went somewhere else, right?
So we went to Bamboo right across the street.
And you met somebody, right? That I think the boys would appreciate.
The boys would appreciate this. So we walked in and I saw someone in the corner. I'm like, I had to do a double take. And it was Sky Bree and Nick Nayersina. And the boys, shout out Sky Bree, and they're really dope people.
Yeah,
like they're really really good people. And I know a lot of people you probably know who Sky Bree is and Nick Nayersina. They're on social media, YouTube, adult industry, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I don't think she is in the adult industry anymore.
I don't think she's in the industry anymore. She did a podcast with Bradley Martin, and she said that she kind of got in, got out, and made her money, and she just kind of made a name for herself, and she dipped, which is power to her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Seriously, yeah.
Were there like a lot of people around them? Like, did you go up to them, or like what happened? Kind of run us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I walked in, and they're the first table in Bamboo, and I look over at them, and I saw Nick right away, and then I kind of just walked away, and I'm like, that was Nick Nayersina. I was like, what the hell is you doing here? So I go over to tell my cousins with me, my boy Pat, Christina, a couple of her friends were there. We were just kind of grabbing drinks, and I'm like, okay, I got to go say hi, because how often are you going to see him? They're always in Florida.
Yeah.
Nick's actually from Grays Lake.
That's what, yeah.
He's close. He's right outside Chicago. I mean, he's a good dude, man.
Like an hour away.
So I went over to him. I said, what's up? I was like, yo, you're Nick. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Just was talking to him, Zane, and a couple of other boys. Really good dudes, man. Just really good dudes.
100%.
They're just chilling. And there wasn't a lot of people who went over to them. They may have recognized them. They may not have. But it was cool, man. We talked to them for like probably 20, 30 minutes.
That's really cool,
dude. They're just really genuine people. Just wanna work hard. They're 100%. Literally one of the boys.
100%. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't really watch many YouTubers anymore, but I do watch Nick Nayersina's channel, and I kind of got onto him like a month ago,
dude.
Maybe about a month and a half ago, and I've been watching most of his videos. Super entertaining, cool guy. The eyebrow riz.
Yes, dude.
You know, I 100% would have said something to him about the eyebrow line.
I should have. I got scared.
And Brad, the academic Wempet, I would have been looking for him, but shout out him, dude. I really hope that he gets everything that he that he's striving for, Road to a Milli. And it's crazy, I think, because he used to be the videographer, like the editor for the Nelk Boys.
100%.
And Steve will do it. And Steve was like, kind of planted the seed in his head like a while back. Was like, dude, you need to be doing your own channel, doing your own thing. He makes music too, which is actually fire.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've listened to it.
I have.
He's got fire music
he's got
too.
Good music, bro.
So shout out to him, man. I'm really glad that you guys had a good time,
dude. Yeah, and hey, if you guys are watching this and you're back, dude, hop on
MVP,
the Boyz for Life.
The Marquee channel.
Yeah, Marquee channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know when that drops. We could talk about it on the next episode if it's come out by then.
Yeah, if it comes out by then. And Nick, if you're watching this, you got to come on Boyz Life podcast. So we need you out here, Nick. We need you. You're a good dude.
I sent you a DM last night too. Open it. Respond. respond. But
I love it.
I kind of want to bring this back in. Okay, so
Yep.
Because I wanted to talk about last night, and I wanted to save it for the podcast because I knew that you guys had a great time. And
great time.
I kind of wanted to talk about Skybree for the viewers. I know a lot of the guys probably don't know who Nick Nayersina is, but I feel like a lot of them know who Skybree is. So I wanted to say
not
that.
yet. Let's say not yet.
No, I'm not dogging you, Nick.
No,
I'm just saying
mad respect
you're still
to
kind of
Nick.
under the radar for a little bit,
Which is a good
cool.
thing.
It's great. But your girlfriend, a lot of the dudes out there probably know who she is. But listen,
Sure they do.
Okay? Let's bring this back in. As we all know that June, maybe we don't all know, but as we all should know, June is Men's Mental Health Month, and we kind of wanted to talk about, some serious things. I feel like there is a crisis out there for men, and I kind of feel like for boys in specific too, the younger generations, and I'm really worried about them because I kind of feel like just with social media and just kind of with technology and everything, I kind of feel like there's just a lost generation of young men out there. And we don't have to touch on it too much, but I kind of feel like that's why Andrew Tate has really blown up the way that he has, is because I feel like the younger generation of the boys and the young men need somebody like that to be kind of pushing them to strive to be better and to work towards their goals and to achieve the things that that they want to in life, whatever success may be. But I feel like there really is a boy crisis out there, and I feel like there are a couple generations, honestly, of just young lost men, and it's sad.
It is very sad.
And there's actually a book out there called The Boy Crisis, which is on this that I recommended my dad to read. He's ordered it. I want to read it myself as well. So unfortunately, at this point in time, I can't quote anything out of that book, but I do know that there is a big crisis out there, and just with men in general. Which is crazy, and I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough. And you had said when we were upstairs, kind of prepping this pod, there's a stigma around it with mental health, and I kind of feel like there's always that kind of look on like men can't talk about their emotions, we can't talk about our feelings because we might be weak. Oh, you're a pussy, you're crying, which is the farthest thing from the truth.
For sure.
I honestly think a man who shows his emotions and he cries and is vulnerable is more of a man than the man who doesn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like society and people kind of look at it backwards, which is weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, it's a very interesting world we live in, I would say. That's probably a good word
100%.
to use. And you're right, man. I mean, there's kids nowadays that are just lost. They have no idea what the fuck they want to do in life. There's so much, they lose all their purpose.
100%.
So I think to your point, like having a figure like Andrew Tate, is someone that can really drive the generation. I feel like he has a good audience.
I feel like that's why he has so much influence, is because he's speaking truth. Cut out some of the crazy outlandish things that he said about, the women and relationships, blah, blah, blah. I truly think that he said that stuff at the beginning just to go viral.
And I do think that people of his stature have a certain agenda. And I don't know. I have obviously never sat in a room with him, but he would probably say, if it's true, that
you have to gain some sense of like virality, and you have to gain that popularity before people will listen.
Well, and he talked about it once too, is that he knew what he was doing on TikTok. That's how he got all the clips went viral, all the algorithms.
100%.
He knew what he was doing. He's a smart ass dude. He's a sharp dude, intelligent dude. He did it on purpose.
Exactly.
And look, and he's very successful. I mean, you don't need to go into it right now. There's some shit going on, right?
Yeah, we don't need to dive honestly too deep. I didn't really want to talk too much about Andrew Tate.
No.
But the last thing I'll say about him is his core message correlates to the boy crisis and the crisis in men, which is just, honestly, just to keep it a buck, is the lack of accountability, the lack of the hard work, the lack of motivation, lack of self-worth that I think a lot of men, it doesn't matter what age you are, obviously it's a crisis in a lot of men. It's rampant nowadays, and it's sad. And I wrote down a couple stats here that I kind of want to read off. Shout out to headsupguys.org. We'll put the link in the description on YouTube, and we can also, I think, put the link in the description on Spotify and Apple.
Sure. Yeah.
For those that want to, pull up this article that we got some of these facts from and kind of do a little bit of your own research. I would encourage you to do it because people don't talk about this enough, and there really is a crisis in depression and suicide in men that I think a lot of people don't realize how prominent it is and how big of an issue it really is. So let me read off a couple of these things for the viewers and the listeners to kind of bring it to light. Did you know that in the U.S., the suicide rate is 4 times higher in men than it is in women?
That statistic there itself is
staggering.
Mind-blowing. That's wow.
Now think about this. Take this one too. Male deaths represent 79% of all suicides, accounting to roughly 105 suicides by men a day in the U.S. alone. 105 male suicides a day. Just in the U.S.
That is...
You're telling me that there's not a problem out there?
There's a big problem.
105 a day. It accounts for 79% of all suicides, men.
It bothers me. I
got goosebumps.
I know. I'm glad I'm really glad we're touching on this because it's not talked about enough. It's extremely sad.
Listen to this one. Suicide is the second most common cause of death for men under the age of 45. The second most common cause of death for all men under the age of 45.
Dude.
And honestly, what breaks my heart a little bit more is this last one. Only 35% of men, on average, seek help from a mental health practitioner. And this kind of leads me to my next point. I know that you're a licensed social worker, so I kind of got a question for you. When we're going through these kind of emotions and you're feeling depressed and you're in a little bit of a rut, what are some things that we can do? Because obviously, whatever we're doing ain't working if 105 men are killing themselves a day.
For sure. I mean, I think, as you know, we need a lot, right? And just to preface for the viewers, so I am a school social worker. I work in a middle school. So we have kids who have suicidal ideation, have suicidal thoughts, passive, active, all the time. And there's certain ways of going about it, right? So the first thing you do is seek help. And the statistic you just brought up, that what was it, 35?
Roughly 35% of men on average seek help.
Dude, that's 1/3 of people seek help and 2/3 don't. Like, if you just think about that's extremely sad. Like, that breaks my heart as a social worker. Myself, right?
100%. But you know what it is? I think it's that stigma that we just talked about a minute ago. That's you're a man. Shut up. Suck it up. You're a pussy.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And that's the problem, is I think we need to break down that barrier and that stigma so men can realize, hey, it's okay to not be okay. I need to seek help, like you said. But I think with that stereotype and just kind of like that view that society has given men is like, you need to just suck it up. Like, you're a man. The phrase, the term, be a man.
Yeah.
I think that drives a lot of people to not seek help. They're just like, oh, I'm okay. I'm just going to bottle it up. I'll be okay. But everybody obviously has that breaking point if 105 men are taking their lives every single day.
For sure. And I think, to touch on your point, is like, every case is different, right? You have kids, people, adults, humans who either have active thoughts, passive thoughts, or they have a plan with intent, or they have a plan. There's so many different variations of what stage you are in of suicide.
It's heavy.
It's very heavy. And the first place that we always start at is we have to develop a plan, right? People think you have to do a safety plan. Safety plan, you may have to get there. It all depends on what phase students are in. I use phase very loosely. That's just kind of how I'm explaining it to our viewers, and just so people to understand. Yeah. Right. So if you have, let's give you an example here. If you have let's say you have a person, they have very, very passive thoughts, right? Maybe every hour, every couple hours, every day, they have just a thought of, oh, I want to take my life because life sucks. Right? Life sucks, right? It's very passive. It's not active. There's no plan. You don't necessarily need a safety plan. You do need a game plan, though, right? Like, our protocol would be you communicate home. You got to let people know, let adults know, hey, this is what's going on, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Just so if it gets to that point, if we let it go any further, let those thoughts just submerge internally, it can really be can be a really tough scene.
I got a question for you though. So
absolutely.
Kind of with that seeking help and going to your family and your friends and those that are close to around you, what if somebody is dealing with these kind of things and they have a fear of being judged? Like, I don't want to go to my friends. I don't want them to see me any different, look at me any differently. I don't want to go to my parents for fear of judgment. What would you kind of say to that? Because I know that that's a very common thing when people are in this kind of mindset and they're 100%. In that deep rut. They don't want to be looked at any different, seem weaker, or seem broken.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think the first thing I would always encourage is find someone you trust, right? You got to have it. And if not, I encourage you to really seek help. But if you do have someone that's like a trusted adult or even like a mental health therapist, reach out and talk with them, because people who have those types of thoughts, they can be very sensitive, right? Like you said, people may be saying, "Oh, you're a pussy," you
suck it up, man up,
right? Which is never okay to do that. It's very difficult sometimes to have some of these conversations, because I do take it very personally when working with a lot of these kids who struggle with this on a day-to-day basis, right? But you have to seek help. The first thing is seek help, right? Identify what is going on, seek help, develop a plan, right? Once you develop a plan, then you can go down the avenue. Okay, is this something that we need to, develop a plan? Maybe you need to do like a grounding technique, right? A meditation, right? Positive affirmations, right? Do something that will distract your thoughts. Maybe you do some arts and crafts. Maybe you watch a movie. Maybe you go for exercise, right? Yeah. You got to be careful and mindful of is you don't want to do something that's too intense. You want to do something that's distracting enough, but not overwhelming.
And too much.
Because you have to be mindful and sensitive. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah.
Right? Because it can be very tough, right? But it all starts with that. So just to recap, because I know that was a lot, right? You have to identify who it is that you need to reach out to. Develop a plan. What kind of game plan? What kind of safety plan? Who needs to be involved in the safety plan? What does the safety plan look like? Are they passive thoughts, active thoughts? Are they actively suicidal? Are we not actively suicidal? Right? And then develop some sort of coping mechanism, coping strategies that you can use. Grounding techniques, going to the gym, journaling, drawing, writing, using a fidget, figuring out what that is, and then continuing to check in. Maybe you check in bi-weekly or bi-daily or weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is. Meeting the individual with where they're at.
Yeah.
It can be hard, though.
100%.
It can be very hard. It can be very, very hard.
I honestly kind of feel like, and I got a lot of respect for you and your line of work, because I was just thinking, I don't want to go to like a dark place, but like how scary and terrifying it would be to like be dealing with the person that's going through that kind of stuff, and then God forbid like they end up taking their life, and you're wondering with those questions like, what could I have done different, or like, was it my fault? Should I have done this or should I have done Y, man? Like, it's heavy. It's honestly like being like working in a hospital and like you're dealing with a gunshot wound person and their life is hanging by a thread and you slip up or something and they end up losing their life. Like it's heavy, man. This is a really heavy subject. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go dark. But
No.
I was like thinking random stuff.
I'm glad that you're bringing that up, because I think it is important that, because this isn't talked about enough. People are scared to talk about suicide. And here's the thing. If you're talking with someone who is suicidal, you can talk to them, right? I think people are scared. Oh, they're suicidal, I can't talk to them. You can talk to them.
You need to talk to them.
You need to talk to them, right? Like, just because they're thinking it doesn't mean they're going to follow through. That's a common misconception. Now, if you talk with them and they start talking like, I have means and I have an active plan, then we need to get certain people involved, right?
Yeah.
But if they just say like, oh, I want to kill myself, right? Like, some people try to brush it off because they don't want to intervene.
Yeah.
And they don't want to deal with what the repercussions could be. But you need to have that conversation. You need to check in. You need to see how people are doing. You need to check in with the boys and have those conversations.
Yeah.
It's important. It's very important.
I think, honestly, the biggest thing is if somebody comes to you saying things like that, or they're expressing to you how much pain they're in, I think the biggest thing that you need to do is listen. I think the biggest peeve, because I've been in that headspace before.
Totally.
I'm sure you have as well.
For sure. Yeah.
And one of the biggest peeves for me, it's actually funny. I was talking with one of my friends last night about this from Arkansas. Shout out Jazzy. Is when you're in that headspace and you try to confide in one of your close friends or a close confidant, and you're really letting it all out on the table, and then somehow that person like turns the conversation into like being about themselves, or just somehow twisting it to be like, make it about them. I just very selfish. I think the biggest thing somebody needs in that situation is just somebody to listen.
That's it.
Sometimes you just need to shut up and listen and just be there. Yeah. Don't try to control the conversation.
No,
Don't try to control them. Don't try to like rise up. No. Just listen.
That's it. And yes.
Does that make sense?
100%. And it's sad because some people, this is what I have observed just through conversation and just based on body language and with certain people, is people don't listen. People only care about themselves. Mm-hmm. They really do. I hate to say it. I'll say it. I mean,
everybody's always a little bit selfish. Which
everyone
at the end of the day, like you have to look out for yourself. I get it. But when somebody's coming to you, like in a time like this,
for sure,
the last thing that matters is you.
Yeah.
You need to just fucking listen to that person coming to you in this situation.
Right. No one gives a fuck about money or your job, or this is a person's life.
Exactly.
Like we have to have empathy and just for people. Like we're all human, and it's really shitty that a lot of this younger generation is just growing up in such an evil world. I mean, it's sad, and I don't see anything changing anytime soon.
Like I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Like about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month, I was in a pretty dark place, and I reached out to one of my friends who I'd never talked to about this kind of stuff, just kind of hoping we'd have a good conversation. And he twisted the conversation and like basically talked down to me for like 25 minutes and made it about himself. And I was like, okay, well, fuck you. I'm never going to talk to you ever about any of this stuff ever again because you're a prick.
Yeah,
seriously. And he's one of my close friends, so it was kind of sad. And I was like, damn.
But you sadly learn.
You sadly learn,
right? I mean, this is something that I'm trying to work on every single day.
Yeah.
Right. Like even with my personal relationship, even like with my friendships, like when to turn certain things off. It can be hard though. So I get it, but like when we're talking about mental health, mental illness, it's important that you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what type of dark, deep thoughts people are having. You don't know. You really don't know, and you just need to be there and just show up. That's the most important thing, man. You know, and I think just one thing that I do want to just kind of touch on, like briefly here, as while we're kind of going on this path, is for people who may be experiencing something like this, is that it's a day by day journey. It's not going to resolve in a day or a week or maybe even a month. It may even take longer.
Yeah.
But you have to show up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's hard when some people aren't going to be there for you, and you find out who's going to be there in your corner and who's not. And that's the hardest thing. You have to show up for yourself, and even in days that fucking suck, and you don't want to fucking do it, but you know that little coping strategy helps.
Whatever it is.
Gotta do it.
You have to do it.
You gotta do it. Like for us, it's like doing the Coleton. We don't want to fucking do it, but it helps us so much.
Or going to the gym when you're not feeling good or whatever it is. Like you have to show up for yourself.
You have to. Right.
Especially when you're in that rut,
Seriously.
You have to show up because it's for you.
You have to.
You know?
If you don't want to read because you know it's going to give you knowledge, you have to do it. You just have to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why a lot of people have a lot of success because they do the things they don't want to do. So if you put yourself in it, we'll use use I guess some sort of metaphor here. Say someone who's battling mental illness, right? Obviously, if you don't help yourself out, it's going to deteriorate, right? I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But if you help yourself, you give yourself a fighting chance every single day.
Every day.
And you inch closer and closer and closer to the end goal. It's just like a football team, right? You don't win the national championship or the Super Bowl in the preseason.
Yeah.
Right? You win it one day at a time.
You have to show up every single Sunday.
Every single Sunday. But you also have to show up Monday through Saturday.
Yeah, Monday through Saturday.
You have to show up
train
every single day.
Games. Exactly.
You have to. It's just like anything that we do. That principle can be applied to anything that we do. So I really hope that message was conveyed concisely to everyone, and I hope that you guys picked up on that. I really do.
I hope you really take a couple nuggets out of this because I feel like this topic is not talked about enough as it should be, and it really is a problem. And that brings me back to like a way that I carry myself is I always try with strangers or whoever I meet to kind of be that joy and be that light because you never know what anybody's going through. It could be the cashier at Trader Joe's that you bump into, or you're in line with a stranger at a clothing store or whatever. Yeah. Just always try to be nice. And I know it's the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated, but you really never know what anybody's going through, especially now more than ever where
seriously
mental health and suicide and everything is just so rampant and it's so dominant. It's so sad, honestly. It like kind of breaks my heart. Like I'm getting kind of emotional, like just thinking about all this.
No, I know. I'm kind of quieter than usual just because of this. It's not always easy to talk about it. And when you live it day to day with some of the kids who are teenagers and even younger, it's like it breaks your fucking heart. And I don't even talk about it enough. I really don't. And I'm a social worker myself, and I have my therapist that I see. I mean, he's a great dude. You need to have someone. And I highly, highly, highly encourage that if you've contemplated seeing a therapist,
do it.
Just try it out. The worst thing it is, you don't like it. The best thing it is, it saves your life. It gives you something. It gives you an outlet that you need. It helped me tremendously. It helps me in so many different ways. My personal life, my relationship with Christina, my relationship with my family, my friends, my peers, my people that I do business with. There's so many aspects of life that it helps. And it's so hard because you don't see it yet. But I really do encourage people, if you're contemplating it, try it out. Mm-hmm. Try it for yourself. Honestly, try it.
I just got kind of emotional for a second, man, because I was thinking, dude, when I grew up, I went to like K1, 2, 3, 4 in kindergarten at my grandma's school.
Yeah.
So I didn't start going to school around Wheaton until first grade. And so when I came to school in first grade, the very first friend that I ever made, who was like my brother, Alula, and he took his life in 2019. That one hit me harder than a lot of things. I remember I was in Arkansas with Ben Carey at our mentors, and I got a text message about it. I went out in the driveway and just bawled my eyes out. Yeah. And I'm like 9 hours away, nothing I could do. It was the winter of 2019, so right before the pandemic, and then everything went to shit. I mean, I could list a lot more people that I know that have taken their lives, and it's so sad, and it's.
I know. It's hard. No, I know.
It's heavy, bro.
And just know I'm always here for you, as you know.
Always.
And I know
brother.
Vice versa.
Shout out to Lula, man.
Honestly,
the only person I know
Alula.
whose name spelled backwards is still the same name. It was Alula.
Wow.
Alula.
Wow.
Alula.
That is amazing. That is amazing. That is really cool.
Shout out to Lula and shout out the Abe family, Abel and Daniel, brother.
Yeah.
My family for life, man.
Yeah.
For real. But
wow,
I didn't want to get too heavy.
No, I know.
I kind of wanted to bring it back. So we were talking. And obviously, like, people bring this to light and they talk about it, but I think people kind of shrug it off. And I kind of wanted to share a quote from Chris Rock from one of his comedy. I don't think it was a comedy special like on Netflix, but it was from one of the comedy shows that went viral. And he was talking about only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Unconditionally. But men are only loved based on the condition that they provide something. Just think about that. Only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Like, it doesn't matter what you do.
No, yeah.
You could be broke, obviously, as a kid and a dog. Like, you're just loved unconditionally. You walk in the door and people love you and they praise you. But men are only loved based on the condition that they provide something, whether that be, financial, security, protection.
Whatever it is.
Yada, yada, whatever it is. It's tough, man. Men, we carry a lot of burdens.
Wow.
A lot of burdens. We carry a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And we carry a lot of just pressure. Because more often than not, in the traditional relationships, the men are the provider. We're the ones that, make the money. I'm not saying that this is how it should be. Women can't make money, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying traditionally, like, generally, men are usually the ones that provide. And we put the food on the table for the kids.
For sure.
And, we work all that kind of stuff to provide for the family and protect. And sometimes it's a lot, man. And obviously, it's a lot because 105 men are taking their lives every single day.
Every day.
And suicide is the second most common cause of death for men under the age of 45. Obviously, that there's a problem going on. And I think it needs to be talked about more.
I think so. And
it's kind of crazy that it's the month of June, which is kind of overshadowed for Pride Month. And yesterday was like Juneteenth. And there's a lot of other things which are fine to talk about. And it's okay.
Sure.
But I think it's kind of unfortunate that it like shadows Men's Mental Health Month. Of course, we'll put this to the side, right?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. No, I get it. And there's so many controversial topics, and we're not going to dive into it.
Yeah.
There's
No, we're not. I'm just kind of saying.
No. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I you know what I mean? And I mean, everything we talk about is either statistics that we've brought up or our opinion on things. You know what I mean?
Opinion.
So, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch. You know what I mean? That's just kind of what it is.
100%.
But, I think one thing that to lead off of your quote about Chris Rock is that it's important that all the guys out there, man, Check in with your boys.
Yeah.
Send a text. Send an audio message. Call them. Like Jeffrey and I, we talk every week.
Almost every day.
Almost every day. If it's in a Snapchat or just talking on the phone, like we talk all the time. And sometimes I think Christina gets jealous, but I think it is important.
Shout out Tina.
Shout out Tina again. But in all seriousness, please check in with your boys because you really don't know. You honestly
you never
don't know
what somebody's struggling with or what they're going through. No. And the same thing for women as well. Just like check in on your friends.
Seriously. Yes. Thank you. Tell
your family, tell your friends, your parents, your brothers, your sisters. Tell them you love them every single day. I know every time we talk on the phone, we always say like "love you," like it's all love.
All love, always. Say all the boys. You have to.
To everybody, and it's just like you have to reach out to your friends. You never know.
You don't know when the last day is going to be.
And the biggest thing, honestly, is you have those close friends, you have those close family. Please, please, please give off that positive environment where people are like a safe space where people can be comfortable to come to you and talk about things. Don't be a prick to people. Be nice. Have a big heart. Like that's honestly the core message. And I know this was a little bit of a heavier episode.
For sure.
But I think given the fact that it's June 20th, it's Men's Mental Health Month, I wanted to talk about this. Yeah. And I know that we wanted to talk about, have an episode about mental health and talk about it. I think that this is the perfect time to do it with it being Men's Mental Health Month. I didn't want to get like too sad or too sappy, but it's obviously something that needs to be talked about. And honestly, I could talk about it all night. It's something I'm very passionate about. And I just wanted to raise awareness, for these viewers.
Yeah, seriously.
Please, go look at it. What was it? It was headsupguys.org.
Yeah.
Please go to the link. Yeah. Do some of your own research. Like check out some of this stuff. It's real. Reach out to your guy friends, girls out there that are listening. Reach out to your guy friends. Talk to them. Be there for them. Just be there for people. It's huge.
Just be an ear.
Just be an ear. Just be an ear to listen, a shoulder to lean on, maybe a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
Just create that safe space.
Yeah. Yeah. No, seriously. Yeah, seriously. And just to wrap things up, thank you guys for listening, viewing, watching, subscribing. Smash that thumbs up button.
Smash that thumbs up.
Hit
that bell. Get notified every time that we drop. We're trying to drop every week?
Every week.
Episode a week.
Episode a week. Yep.
Please. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
This is episode 4. We'll bring it on to a wrap. Last thing that I want to say is just anybody listening, anybody watching, just know that you're not alone. Please. There's suicide hotlines. Yeah. Reach out to your friends, like you said. Please just know that you're not alone. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, I promise you're not alone.
Right. Reach out to us. Reach out to us.
Yeah, hit us in the comments, on the DMs, Instagram, whatever it is. Reach out to us. I promise I will listen.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm there for you. Call me, whatever. You say whatever you want. We are here. That's a wrap to episode 4. Thank you, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace. That's a good one, bro. That's a great one. I think that conversation
was a good one.
A lot better. Didn't it? With that structure, it was good.
Did it feel better last one back there?
It felt really structured.